I'm drunk. I'm drunk as fuck. It's my birthday. It was my birthday. It's now the day after my birthday. I'm drunk. I'm drunk. Okay. Hello, I'm drunk. This is how I am when I'm drunk. Pretty much the same. Slightly slurry. People think I'm drunk when I'm not drunk. But I am drunk right now. So, I'm coming out. I'm coming out as straight. I'm straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. And I'm gonna fart. I've always been straight. Even when I went out with a guy, I was straight. That's why it didn't work out. Because I was straight. It sounds so stupid. But for the whole of my life, not the whole of my life, for the whole of my adult life, I've had this insecurity or this kind of compensation thing. I'm trying to compensate for the fact that I'm afraid of being gay, and I know it's more than that. It's that I'm compensating for the bullying that happened to me when I was younger, where I never had any external confirmation or reinforcement for anyone saying I was straight. The only thing I ever got regarding sexuality was bullying and homophobic, taunting, calling me gay for not gay reasons, for just whatever reason was floating around. Really, if I was doing artwork, I'm gay. So I have had a revelation that I'm not actually gay. I'm straight. I've always been straight. In fact, while I was in the homosexual relationship that I was in, I was straight. I was straight, and I've always been straight. I've always been straight. So stupid. I've always been straight. And I've tormented myself that I wasn't allowed to be straight because I was always told that I was gay, but my feeling has always been that I am straight. As in, I think straight is a stupid word. I think fancying women or attracted to women or in love. I feel like such a dick. I feel like it's kind of. I feel like I'm going to be bullied for admitting the fact that I fancy women. I feel like it's. Yeah, like I'm not allowed to just say. This is so strange. It's so strange. Like it feels like I'm not allowed to admit my actual feelings of attraction for women. Like, I have to keep that hidden for some reason, because if you admit it, then you're gay. I'm gay for admitting that I fancy women, so it's bizarre. Yeah. But it feels like such a weight off my shoulders to realise that I've never been gay. I've never been gay the whole time. I've always been straight, and I've never been gay. I've only ever been afraid. I've only ever been afraid of being gay. I've only ever been afraid of being lacking. So it's not about being gay, it's about being seen as lacking. That's such a relief. It's such a relief because it's like I can finally realize that my inner self is true and the outer nonsense or bullshit that people have been saying to me from bullying, fearful bullshit has been wrong, and that I know I've never been gay. I've never been gay. I've never been gay. I even tried it out to see if it was, and then it wasn't. And in fact, every time I have tried to be gay, I have found it not to be the case. I've found it not attractive, not interesting, not not enjoyable, not pleasurable. So it feels really kind of stupid to say that I'm coming out as straight. Oh my god, I'm straight. I've always been 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 straight. I have always been straight. I've always been straight. I've been straight through the whole thing. I've been straight, and I've always been straight. And it's like I haven't even. I'm straight. I've always been straight. I'm straight. I'm straight. I've always been straight. And all experiments with men have failed because I have always been straight. Because I've always been straight. And it's only because of what people have said judgmentally about me being gay that I decided to see if what they were saying was true, that I even bothered to experiment with that shit in the first place, because I was too insecure about my own self-knowledge. And I didn't okay, at the first time when I experimented, I didn't have enough confidence in myself to be able to say yes or no to it. But I've never been gay. I've never been gay. And it's like, it's almost as though if it had even been the other way around, if I'd been saying, okay, I've always been gay, and then I finally admit that, then that would have been fine. But to admit that I have been straight the whole time, and to finally have my own self saying that, it is a revelation. It's so stupid. It's a revelation. I feel like it should be the opposite, as in, like, I feel that people who finally come to terms with their sexuality come to terms with the fact that they're gay or they're bisexual or they're transgender or something. And for me, it's coming to terms with myself as being straight. It's the one sexuality that was never allowed to me. I was allowed to be everything else, and I've never allowed myself to just, okay, I am actually straight. I've always been straight. And that's the one that's been in denial. It's not been the gay thing. It's not been bisexual. I've always been straight, and I've always been in trying to prove I'm straight. But I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight the whole fucking time. Oh, it's so stupid. Oh, I feel like I've wasted so much brain power and emotional power on the conflict and the turmoil and trying to convince myself I'm straight and trying to show to the world I'm straight, which is effort that has been, if I just looked at myself and asked myself the question, look, are you gay or straight? And I could, and actually looked inside and said, no, I'm not gay, I'm straight. I've always been straight. I have always been straight. I'm coming out as straight. I'm straight. I've always been straight. I've been heterosexual my whole life. I've always been heterosexual. I've never actually fancied a man. I've never fully ever fancied a man. I only ever said that a man is attractive because I thought that it was, like, politically correct to take on board the gay point of view. So I also felt like I needed to be able to be gay in order to prove that I'm not homophobic. That's another aspect. Like, I felt like that if I wasn't gay, then I was homophobic, and it was bad to be homophobic. So I had to at least try out being gay in order to stop myself from being homophobic. So in fact, all I have ever feared, and yeah, all I've ever done is try to deal with the fear of being gay, rather than, it's not ever really been about whether I'm gay or straight. It's about trying to put away the teasing and the taunting and to push that way. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. It's so strange, so stupid. I mean, who comes out as straight? I've been straight the whole time. I didn't even realise it. It's as if I didn't realise it. It's as if some part of my brain hadn't said, "Oh, by the way, you're straight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've always been straight." Oh my god. I've always felt like I'm not allowed to, because I had a gay relationship, right? Because I experimented with homosexuality, because I experimented with being gay. It's like I've not allowed myself to say no to that. I've not allowed myself to fully say no. That was something I tried. It didn't work out. I tried it because I was unsure of myself, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to be there. I didn't even fancy him. You know, there was a physiological response, but I think that would happen in any situation where someone's playing with your ghoulies. You're gonna get aroused because your body tends to get aroused, whatever. So, so weird. I managed to disallow myself my own heterosexuality. I've disallowed that to myself all this time, and finally I'm going, I've been straight the whole time, and it's the one thing I've not allowed myself to be. I've not allowed myself to be what I am, which is straight. I've always been. I feel like somehow I'm being bad if I'm straight. I feel like it's not politically correct to be straight. I feel like it's misogynistic even to be straight somehow. Like or it's homophobic to be straight. That I am not allowed to be heterosexual because we're in such a kind of metrosexual climate that it's not okay for me to be straight. But I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been heterosexual. Sounds stupid. I've always been straight. I've always fancied women. I've always fancied women. I've always fancied women. And I've not allowed myself to just actually feel that and to know that that's the case. It's a relief because part of it's a relief because I feel normal, and maybe that's a cisgender thing. Maybe that's a kind of normality spectrum thing. But I feel like I'm normal, and I feel like I'm normal to myself. Like I feel like that's right. That's correct for me in myself. You know, as in I finally like fitted with myself. I finally clicked with myself. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. Oh god, I wasted so much energy, mind energy, on considering back and forth, gay, straight, bi. Just mainly those gay, straight, bi. And honestly, I haven't even really allowed myself to consider the straight thing as an option. I feel like I've been so in fear of being gay that I haven't allowed myself to acknowledge authentically and genuinely my straight side. So I've always been straight. And honestly, credit to my friend Robin, because he just said something. It was like a throwaway thing, but he just said, "You're straight." And I was like, "Do you know what? No one's ever actually told me that. No one's told me that. No one has ever told me you're straight." And it was almost like something clicked off in my brain. Like, I've always been straight, and no one ever told me it. Everyone had always been teasing me about being gay. No one had ever said, "Ross, you're straight. I know you're straight. It's obvious you're straight. You're straight. I know you're straight." And tonight, Robin just said, you're straight. And I went, I know, I know, but I've never. It's like I needed someone to just say it so that I could go, yes, yes, I know. I mean, like, duh, but oh, yes, I've always been straight. 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 I'm coming out as straight. It's so sad. It's so strange. So stupid. Who comes out as straight, really? I do. I come out as straight because I didn't know until the age of 33. It took me till 33 to realise I'm straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always fancied women. But it's like, it's not even that. It's saying fancying women seems like I'm trying to make up for something, but straight feels like an identity thing, whereas fancying women feels like an activity. But straight feels like what I am, and I've never been allowed, and I never allowed myself to just say that's who I am, what I am. I've always been straight. Oh my god! The whole time I've been worried about it, and I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. I've always been straight. All right, I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna enjoy that for myself.